Aviation experts argue that many airlines will go out of business in 2020. Before the COVID-19 pandemic started, Kenya Airways was already going through a turbulent financial period. Picture this: in 2010, Kenya Airways was double the size of Ethiopian Airlines. Today, Ethiopian Airlines is 3 times bigger than Kenya Airways. Kenya Airways was once lauded as the airline that would bring African aviation into the world's limelight. However, the vision was not to be. The airline is fighting to survive. So what happened to the pride of Africa? Kenya Airways was established in 1977 after East African Airways ceased operations. The airline was wholly owned by the Kenyan government until April 1996, when it became the first African carrier to become privatized. After privatization, the airline experienced consecutive profitable years with the exception of 2003. By 2012, it was serving 55 destinations and expanding fast. In a bid to expedite its expansion, the airline introduced Project Mawing program. The plan was to launch service to new destinations in North and South America and Australia by 2017. The airline would also open routes to its SkyTeam member hubs. In total, the project would have added 60 destinations in 32 countries. The scale of the project would have tripled its size, possibly making it the biggest airline in Africa. Unfortunately, the ambitious expansion program did not go according to plan. The project was supposed to start in 2012, which was the last year the company recorded a profit. Here is a graph showing profit and loss from 1996. As you can see, losses hit a record high in 2015. So what happened? Here are some of the factors that contributed to the decline of the airline. Corruption and mismanagement. Corruption and mismanagement played a major role in the decline. Audits by an external agency reported findings of suspicious transactions, poor ticketing policies, shady aircraft acquisition and sale deal, theft of aircraft maintenance parts, and overpriced jet fuel procurement. Project Mawing. Part of the implementation of Project Mawing involved acquisition of new aircraft to serve the new destinations. The timing for the project coincided with decreased revenues caused by a decrease in passenger numbers. The airline had to take up massive debt to fund the project. Kenyan media also reported lack of transparency in the acquisition of new aircraft. Reduced travel to East Africa due to travel advisories. Multiple foreign nations issued travel advisories to Kenya and East Africa. The travel advisories significantly reduced the number of business and leisure travelers to Kenya. Competition. As the airline was trying to sort out its challenges, competition from fast-growing Ethiopian airlines was increasing. Even worse, Gulf airlines like Qatar and Emirates increased their services to Kenya. Other East African airlines like Rwanda Air and Air Tanzania have been receiving cash injection from their governments. The competition will only get stiff. Rising debt, expensive aircraft acquisitions, rising cost of operation, and other costly management practices and corruption put the airline deeper into debt. More debt meant the airline had to spend more on interest payments. As you can see from this graph, there was a big increase in debt beginning in 2013. Based on the graphs I showed you, it's evident the losses and the debt have been decreasing lately. Kenya Airways embarked on a turnaround mission in a bid to return to profitable ways. The airline brought in Sebastian Mikosh in 2017 as CEO. Even though he had prior experience in turning around airlines, he resigned after 2 years citing personal reasons. Kenyan media reported that he had internal and external forces sabotaging most of his efforts. During his reign, the airline finally secured direct flights between Nairobi and New York. As part of its restructuring, $2 billion of debt was converted into equity for its creditors, who included the government and 11 Kenyan banks. The next part of its turnaround was to adopt a similar model to profitable Ethiopian Airlines. A proposal was made to nationalize the airline and then set up an aviation holding group. The group would have 4 subsidiaries, which would include Kenya Airways, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, an aviation academy, and Kenya Airports Authority. The idea to take up Nairobi's main airport was not well received, with Kenyans arguing that a loss-making private business should not take over a profitable government entity. In November 2019, Kenyan lawmakers voted to renationalize the airline. It is estimated the ongoing process will take 21 months to finalize. Nationalization has not always worked. Kenya Airways was making losses before it became private 24 years ago. South African Airways is also an example of a state-owned entity that collapsed. On April 1, 2020, the board named Alan Kilavuka as the new CEO. He is the former boss of Kenya Airways low-cost carrier Jambojet. His biggest task for now is seeing the airline through the COVID-19 pandemic. Like many global airlines, Kenya Airways has been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Most global airlines are relying on their governments for bailouts. What do you think about Kenyan Airways becoming government-owned? Was it a good move? What was your experience flying with them? Tell me your thoughts in the comments.